Hello everyone, I am Chandhan, currently engaged in research in machine learning within the Department of Electrical Engineering. Today I have the distinct privilege and honor in interviewing one of the experts at IASC in the field of machine learning, Professor P S Sastry sir. Professor Sastry had an illustrious career spanning more than 3 decades at IASC. He started teaching machine learning in the year 1989 at a time when the field was still in its early stages. Over the past 3 decades, he has not only witnessed but also contributed to the remarkable evolution and growth of this discipline. His deep understanding, innovative research, and dedication to teaching have positively impacted countless students and professionals worldwide. In this interview, we will delve into Professor Shastri sir's experience. It is a rare opportunity to gain insights from someone who has seen the evolution of the field from its early days and continue to inspire a lot of students with his dedication to teaching and pursuit of excellence. Let's look at a small bio. Professor P S Sastry sir earned his BSc degree in physics from Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur, India, and both his BE degree in Electrical Communication Engineering and PhD degree from the Department of Electrical Engineering at the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. His PhD was under the guidance of Professor MAL Tatachar. He has been a faculty member in the Department of Electrical Engineering at IISc since 1986 and served as the department's chairman during 2010-15. Professor Sastry has held visiting positions at Texas A&M University, College Station TX USA, the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, MI USA, General Motors Research Laboratory, Warren, MI USA, University of Massachusetts, USA. His research interests includes pattern recognition, machine learning, data mining, and computational neuroscience. Professor Sastry has received several prestigious awards, including the C.V. Raman Award for Young Scientists from the Government of Karnataka, the Hari Om Ashram Dr. Vikram Sarabhai Research Award from PRL Ahmedabad, the Most Valued Colleague Award from General Motors Corporation USA, and the Alumni Award for Excellence in Research from IASC. He is a fellow of the Indian National Academy of Engineering and the National Academy of Sciences, India. Without further ado, let us commence this enlightening conversation with the esteemed Professor P S Sastry sir. Hello sir.
Hello.
Welcome to this interview.
Thank you.
So, sir, you began your research career around 1980. So, at that time, research was not something that was perceived by people from humble backgrounds, and it was not so kind of elite. So, what motivated you to perceive in this direction? Can you please share your journey?
Yeah, PhD in engineering departments was not so very common those days and not so very rare either. There are many other people like me I know. But still, when I joined for research in the department, the number of PhD students that year, and the total number of PhD students in the department was maybe 7, 8, in single digits certainly. What is true then as well as now is that PhD actually reduces the number of jobs you can go for. Those days, people go for PhD in engineering only if you're interested in academics. Industry wasn't really hiring PhDs those days. That's one reason. But there are many people who are interested in academics, and most of the people who used to join for research those days generally have academics as a career. That's one of the reason why maybe number of people was less those days. Also those days, it's all, somehow there was a feeling that if you want to get to top academic institutions in India, you should have a PhD abroad, which is not necessarily true. There are many people who got PhD in India who are retiring now in IISc. But because of that, many people used to go abroad. So that's also contributed to there being fewer students. But I always enjoyed my stay here. Uh, Actually, I was always interested in teaching, maybe because my father was a teacher. My father was a lecturer in a college. He was a chemistry lecturer. And he was very supportive. I mean, not that, he was very well off, but he never wanted me to take up a job after BE. And he always wanted me to study for as long as I wanted. So he was very supportive for doing PhD. And because he was a teacher and because he is supportive, I think that's the main motivation why I came to research.
Nice to know that, sir. So you were a student here at IISc, and then so we have heard that you are at that time you are one of the best programmers the whole institute had. Can you give us some of your experiences here at the institute? How was the institute at that time? What are the people whom you met? Some anecdote, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, almost to the day, it is 46 years now. And as I was telling somebody recently, I came here as a teenager, a 19-year-old boy, and stayed on. I joined as a student in the 3-year BE program in ECE, a degree that doesn't exist anymore. It was there those days. Post BSc, I did my BSc in IIT Kharagpur, and then post BSc, there's a BE at ISc. Yeah, as for programming, yeah, I was one of the few good programmers those days, and in that community at that time, I was one of the programming gurus. But programming has changed a lot since then, and when we were we students and when we were research students, I joined for research in '81. I actually joined for what used to be called MSc engineering those days, and later converted to PhD. So directly did PhD after BE. Those days, there is this language called Pascal, which only a few people would have heard of today. It's a very good programming language pedagogically. It's very good for teaching programming concepts. Somehow it didn't become popular, but that was the main language those days. I was quite a good programmer. Yeah, I kept up with programming through C, but by the time it became object-oriented programming and all the current generation packages, Python packages, yeah, I kind of lost touch. In the last 15 years, I've not programmed much. But yeah, and those days, things were different. Certainly, I mean, 40 years, 45 years is a long time for fields to evolve. And some years ago, I was talking to Partha Talukdar he was asking me, how were you doing ML research in those days in small computers? So I laughingly told him, yeah, those days 10 is a high dimension for feature space. Okay. Actually, when we students, there used to be IBM 360. It's one of for its time, it's a very very good system. But it's essentially a batch programming system, and you submit programs using punched cards, right, and come next day to collect your results. Time sharing started with a computer called DEC 10, which was also a good computer at that time, 1980. Just for you to understand, its main memory was 2 megabytes. And that is the system on which time sharing was first introduced. At least my first experience on time sharing was that. So every student was given 2 half-an-hour slots to get to a terminal and directly execute things. Yeah, it was fun. I mean, we've seen evolution of microprocessors, evolution of systems. Like, if you take any span of time spanning 45 years, a lot of technology would change a lot. But at the bottom, research is always same. I mean, you have a supervisor. I had a fantastic research supervisor, Professor Tatacharya. He was very nice in letting you explore and learn. And yeah, research always is, as long as your research guide is nice, he lets you explore. There's a lot of heartbreak, there's a lot of frustration, but that doesn't change over time. Possibly what changed today is we now have more than 100 PhD students in the department. We were very few. Even the number of students in the institute that time was only of the order of 1,500. But good time. I mean, those are the times when no internet, no soft copies of books. Journals used to come by sea mail, and we get to see the journals only after 3 months after the journal came. But it was still fun. I mean, we enjoyed our student days like everybody. Yeah, things change, and looking back now, those days, for example, there used to be a ritual. Every Friday, new journals, all the new journals are kept in a particular room. For 1 week, you can't take it out of the room. So every Friday afternoon and Saturday, Sunday, all the research students used to go to the library to look at all the new journals that have come that week. Yeah, that has completely gone now with everything being online. Yeah, many things like that change, but yeah, it's good now. You have all the resources on your terminal.
Yeah. So, after your student life at IISc, so you started your MS degree, which you converted into PhD, and then you joined here as a
Yeah,
faculty.
the faculty. I joined as a lecturer, which also a post that doesn't exist anymore. I was one of the last few people to join as lecturers. I think I joined in 86. By about 89, I think 89, 90, that is abolished. Everybody joining as assistant professor.
So, after joining IISc as a faculty member, so what are the courses that you have taught? You are particularly renowned for your two famous courses that you have taught over decades. So, one is STOMA, Stochastic Modeling and Applications, and PRNN, Pattern Recognition and Neural Networks. I was just going through the internet to find some reviews. So, yeah, I just asked a question, which are the good courses for machine learning, and then I found a review, and then this review is from an IISc student. So he has taken your course offline. So and then he just gives a review. There is a course in NPTEL called as Pattern Recognition and Neural Networks, taught by Professor P S Sastry. I have taken that course, and boy oh boy, it is one of the best courses I have taken at IISc. The insights that he gives for any complicated equation is just unbelievable. In our lab at IISc, we call him God for a reason. I felt this course to be more mathematically rigorous than the one by Andrew Ng of Coursera. Sir, why did you specifically choose to teach these kinds of course, and then you are renowned for these kinds of course with I have taken I have seen your videos. I did not have the privilege of getting taught PRNN specifically by you, and then I really feel that the comments that he has given is justifiable. So why did you take these courses? What was the reason behind that?
I mean, courses that I taught also evolved all the time. I've taught many courses at IISc. I taught performance modeling. I taught programming and data structures. I taught linear algebra. Many of the courses. Actually, I started an elective course in 1999 on machine learning. That time, machine learning was not particularly popular. Actually, some of the current faculty in IISc have taken that course. I taught that course only maybe 3-4 years, and then stopped that. Then for a while, I taught a course on artificial intelligence. At a time when most courses are only about 25-30 students strong, that AI course always used to get about 80 students. I first taught it along with another senior professor called Professor V S Sharma. Unfortunately, it's no more. After that, I taught it by myself. Through 80s and 90s, there's a lot of hype about neural networks. Neural networks came up, went down, came up again. So I actually started a course on neural networks. After a while, we stopped AA course, maybe mid to late 90s. Then started the neural network course. There used to be another course on pattern recognition, which Professor Narasimhamurthy taught. I also taught it for time. This PRNN course came up maybe in early 2000, maybe after 2005, 6. I exactly forget now, maybe 2007. We dropped that pattern recognition neural network separate courses and made one course on PRNN. The probability course I've been teaching for almost 15 years or more. Okay. I always liked probability, even from my student days, and I took particular interest in teaching it because a lot of people have a fear of probability. So I always tried my best to engage students in seeing that it's just like any other maths course. PRNN, yeah, it also evolved. Um, yeah, I'm fortunate that a lot of people like that course. That NPTEL course, yes, it was quite popular. I had mails from across the world. I mean, some people in Eastern Europe included, asking doubts on that course. Okay. But looking back, I think it is unfortunate that the course was planned around 2010, 2011. Most of the recordings were done in 2011. So I planned that course based on the my experience of teaching it over 2007, 8, 9. That was the time, of course, I knew that deep learning is there, and for example, RBM was there. But around 2011, nobody ever foresaw this. For example, I know the Leonard Lacan's paper in 90s, but I still did not include CNNs in my NPTEL course.
Yes, yes.
So if that course was done maybe 2-3 years later, the content would be quite different.
Yes.
But about it being mathematical, yes, I always felt that getting the right probability background is very useful for people working in machine learning.
Yes.
And because I had struggled through probability myself and I taught probability for many years, I tried to see what kind of help students need in understanding probability. Yeah, I'm happy that many students like that course, but after a while it became a drag. I have to teach that, and number of people taking that course increased, and now Pratush is doing a fantastic job for the last 2-3 years with that course. Yeah, both PRNN and this stochastic models course, I enjoy teaching them. There are many students who came back afterwards and told me that they really benefited out of the course. So that's a great payoff for a teacher, right? Yeah. So those are the two main courses I taught, but there are many other courses, as I mentioned, that I taught, and I also taught some informal lectures on Lisp programming, which doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, since you have rightly pointed out that in 2010 course of yours, you did not even include CNN, and then you have gone through a lot of evolution of machine learning. So, and you have seen a lot of developments. So, where do you see the things are going ahead, especially in the machine learning? Because many people are giving their own views, and then some of the people.
I mean, as someone famously said, it's very difficult to predict, especially the future.
Yes.
So, and neural networks had been a field like that. Yeah. There were a lot of times when neural networks were thought to have, in 80s when I was a PhD student, when the two papers of Hoffield came, there's so much interest. Matter of fact, I remember late 80s, along with one professor in physics, we conducted a workshop for all PhD students across the country in neural networks because it was considered very, very important at that time. There was this fifth generation computing project where Japan and US, America were competing against each other, wondering whether they'll become technologically backward. So there's a lot of hype about it, and AI and neural networks have always been at, as a matter of fact, classical AI has been at loggerheads with neural networks for many years. And then through 90s, the enthusiasm was lost and things shifted to more rigorous image processing, more rigorous machine learning, like support vector machines and kernel-based methods, a lot of what you call Bayesian methods in machine learning. And as everybody says, what happened in 2012 is like a watershed movement.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to know whether this hype one can really live up to. But whether, even though the hype may be exaggerated, a lot of machine learning solutions are going to become part and parcel of our like your large language models, your personal assistants, all these will become part of our routine for. It's just that, when in 80s, there's fierce debates about whether computers can ever be intelligent. And one of the yardsticks on which the debates used to be held is whether they can ever play chess. Right? In 97, when Deep Blue beat Kasparov, it's a watershed moment for AI. Actually, I wrote an article in the Economic for it.
Oh.
By that time, it was great, but playing chess is not what intelligence is about,
Yes, yeah.
right? The argument totally shifted. Today, we take it for granted that there are many computer chess things that you can download onto your mobile, which can beat all but maybe 1,000 human beings. Right?
Yes.
Today, we don't even think about it that your Alexa can recognize anybody's voice. Right? Speaker independent speech recognition was the holy grail in 2000. So a lot of these advances have just become part of our lives. We take speech recognition for granted today. We take image recognition for granted today. Right? We take computers playing games for granted. So in that sense, AI is already seeped very much into our lives. And it will be even more. I mean, your chatbots will become more intelligent. All of us will get percent. But how far it will go is difficult for anyone to see. But personally, I think there will be a time when all of us have to seriously think about Eskimo's laws of robotics and how we can make regulation, right?
Yeah.
So that harm will not be done. It's not so much as bad people, so to say, will use AI, but unintended harm by these programs will happen if they are not regulated. It's already happening in terms of fake news and in terms of many other similar things. At some point of time, I think we have to codify most laws of robotics into our regulation. But it will come. I mean, we've lived through many technological breakthroughs. Right? I mean, the cell phone that we take for granted was not there in 80s. Right? It's hardly 40 years ago. So a lot of technological advances we'll take for granted. In the same way, ultimately, when AI becomes part of our life, it becomes just one more thing that we're used to. But this being a slightly different technology, we would certainly need more regulatory control by the society.
Yeah, so let's take a turn from your technical achievements and other things. So, apart from an exceptional teacher, a researcher, so you have a wide range of lots of interest. So, you are very much interested in Carnatic music. You are a student and a critic of both Eastern and Western literature. So, and then I have heard that you are a Veena player as well. So, could you share some of your hobbies and other interests that you have?
Yeah, just to correct a error, I'm not a Veena player.
Okay.
I learned Veena for 4 years, 5 years, but given up when I realized that I'm not good at it. Yeah, I love to listen to Carnatic music. I would have loved to have had enough talent to learn a Veena, but I just didn't have the talent. So I learned it for close to about 5 years, and after that I decided.
You learned for 5 years and then you're saying.
Yeah, I've been very much interested in reading literature, both in Telugu, in English. I've read a lot of things. I'm a great fan of P.G. Udos, okay, but I also like a lot of serious literature. I cannot call myself a critic, but yeah, I like literature quite a bit. Reading is one of my big hobbies. Apart from that, music is everybody's hobby anyway. Okay. Yeah, I did dabble a little bit earlier in popular science writing. There were a couple of people whom I knew well who were science editors in the Technol, and for a few years I was actively involved in planning some popular science articles for newspapers. Once again, didn't come too much, but we've written a few popular science articles. Apart from that, I don't have too many hobbies.
This is a lot more than others I haven't seen. Yeah. So we will conclude with the last question, sir. So you have been an exceptional student. You have been a programmer. You have been a teacher. So you have played a lot of roles, and then all of the roles that you have played well. So can you please share us some of the advice for students, young faculties, researchers?
Actually, I'm not an exceptional student. Okay? I was not an exceptional student. Actually, I was not the top of my BE class. It's nice to tell now. We had a topper, was really good. He got, those days is a 4 CGP system, got 4 on 4. But it's, he'll go to a second show movie the day before the exam. A really nice guy, okay, a friend called Sundarajan, Prabhakar Sundarajan. Okay. So all I want to say is, even within my small peer group of my class, I was not the best student. Okay? So I'm not an exceptional student
You are competing amongst lions.
by any stretch of imagination. But yeah, I have had a very nice time in ISC. Yeah, both as a student, as a faculty member, and I'm really grateful to all my teachers in ISC. My own guide. There are many people. I don't want to name any particular person, otherwise the list will become too much. But yeah, ISC always had been a fantastic place. Because I was a student here, I can certainly vouch for it that whatever research I could do is because of what I learned at ISC. Over the years, lots of things have changed. When we were PhD students, all of us knew that we were doing PhD because we were slightly mad. Okay, you don't need PhD for a job. There are very few jobs that needed PhD except academics. But we were interested in learning. We were interested in academics. Today, there's a lot of jobs for PhDs in academics, and correspondingly, the motivation for students coming for PhDs has also changed. Another big change, when we were students, there were a lot of things about too many Indian students from top institutions going abroad, and there should be something called a brain drain issue. Some of us decided that we have great professors here, we should do PhD here. Once again, today that may not be a big deal. People go abroad and come back, and maybe all that intense debates we used to have whether we should go abroad for PhD was also pointless. But I somehow feel that one thing, the core of a PhD doesn't change. You still have to learn a lot, you have to read a lot, you have to explore a lot. Something that has changed, which I feel personally sad about, is students have become extremely narrowly focused. People are not interested in, as students working in AI, we used to read philosophy. We used to read about, what Indian philosophy or Western philosophy has said about knowledge and so on. So some more people don't have that kind of, maybe they don't have time today, but that is something that I would like to tell students, that having wider interests, having thinking that you want to pick a background is important. Except for that, yes, as I said, I had good time. There are many very good students I can remember whom I have the good fortune to teach. Many of them come back and tell you things, and you feel good about it. But somehow the motivation for doing research has changed. But the motivation for doing research should always be because you're interested in learning something. You should have pleasure in just knowing things. The pleasure in knowing things is what should motivate you. If that is not there, it's very difficult to do research. That's one thing that I feel has changed over the last 20 years. That may be something that would be nice if current research students take an introspection on it. Apart from that, when we were young, ISC was a small place. Most rules are not codified, but there used to be a lot of personal interaction, and things used to be done at a personal level. I've seen the ISC student body almost triple within my active career. Yeah, so things have become a lot more, process oriented. Which for old people feels a little sad, but things have to move on when site changes. Yeah, that's about it. I don't know what else to say about.
You just told for students, for faculties, for aspiring and
Yeah, recently I had a interesting conversation with a young faculty member who is considering IAC or Society Bombay. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I'm not talking about IAC specifically, but all along, academics is not, let's say, at a financial level, the best job that you can get. Somebody is in academics because two things: you love to teach, and you love to just learn things and work on whatever your fancy takes. For example, in my career, suddenly I decided I will try to explore neurobiology and try and do some modeling and try and see how to. So I worked on computational science. Didn't go very far. I couldn't really do much, but the institution doesn't stop you from exploring what you like. As long as you're doing decent research, you can explore practically any topic. Only people who have that love to explore stuff, love to just learn things, that is should be the motivation for you to come to faculty jobs. That is true of most faculty who come there. I mean, especially today in EC's kind of departments, the jobs in industry are so well paying. The only reason you come here is Jodhra. So that's the only thing I can tell for aspiring faculty members, that you want to be a faculty member, you're there for the love of teaching, for the love of learning, for the love of research.
nice statement. So to conclude, so that's the gist of teaching. I agree with you, sir. So as we conclude the interview, so
Thank you.
I would like to express my sincere gratitude to you, sir, for sharing your valuable insights, experiences, your journey as a researcher, as an educator. So it was truly remarkable to discuss with you always. Thank you for enriching us with your wisdom.
Thank you. Thank you very much.